what I would do is I would just show you Pear Deck and how simple it is to set up and get some. And literally, I will use you as children essentially, and show you how quickly you can do it. So I've just made very quickly a Google slide. That's what we'll do. So using Pear Deck to support remote learning. I'm going to show you how to add interactivity to it, how to add additional Pear Deck pages, because there's some really good things you can add into it. Maybe you want to add sound. I don't know about that one. I've never used the sound. What does Pear Deck look like as a pupil? And then how to deliver Pear Deck as a teacher. First thing to say is Pear Deck is an add-on, and it should appear, if you are logged in your Beechwood Park Google account, it should appear here at the top middle of your Google slides, if you're looking at my screen there. And so you might just want to check that you can see that. And when you click on it, now because I'm logged in, I think I will log straight in, but you might have to register an account the first time you do it. I can't remember if I'm wrong. What you now get is a series of things that you can now do to your slides. So if I go to my how to add interactivity, I might now want to change this to because this slide will appear on the children's screen and you will have control of it. I know if I click the ABC, it will turn this slide into a question, and the pupils will now have to write a response. So if I was to say to you, I could now change this to what would you like to know about Pear Deck? Oops. When that appears on the pupil's screen, they will get there, what would you like to know about Pear Deck? And they begin to type the answers in. It sort of automatically loads in their screen. Now you have a choice. You could put a multiple choice thing in there, and you could put a number, a rank thing, and they're quite good. Now the ones at the bottom with stars, they are premium only features. Now I don't quite know where it's up to with Pear Deck, but when I first started using this in the first lockdown, Pear Deck gave me like 3 months free using the draw and the draggables. And they were really good because I could put a map on the Google slide and the children could draw on where they thought London was, or, where you could have a piece of text on there and they could identify the spelling mistakes or the apostrophes that are missing, and they could draw on the screen. But at the minute, they are premium features. Now, if we're going to be locked down for a while, I may well go premium and charge it to the geography department. So if I want to add so the next one, I could then just create a new slide. And quite often I will if I just duplicate the slide, here, do you see how I've gone from 2 to 3? I've now got the same slide twice. It's automatically created another text slide. So I could change this to a different question about Pear Deck. But maybe what I'll do is I'll just do a number one, rate this presentation. And then I will actually change it now to a number. Yeah, there's two things. Yeah, so it's offering me two options here. We're probably you can have it will give you, the students will write a number on there, and then there's a main projector screen that will show you what they're doing. I'll show you that when we do it. And the students will now enter a number. Now I can't remember. There is a way of editing the numbers, but I can't remember doing that on the top of my head. Now, the next thing I was going to show you, just to help you set up before I actually give you this link to do, is you can add additional Pear Deck pages, and I find these really useful. If you look here, they've got a template library. And in the template library, they've got lots of things to help you structure your lessons. So there's lots of beginning of lessons things. So I will quite often look through these, and so this one, it's a very simple one. So as they're arriving, what did you learn from your homework? And if I click on that, yeah, it puts it straight into the slide. And so I will quite often have something like this up. I've put 2 in by accident there. And as they're arriving, they're dripping in. This will be on their screen, and they can start tapping away, what did you learn from their homework? But there are lots of other things. So whatever this one is, I clicked it before I read it. Oh, sorry, this was just instructions. But there's, what do you wonder about today's topic? How is a homework assignment? That's a slidey one where they've got to sort of drag the hand back and forth. But so that's the start of the lesson. But there's more things like these critical thinking ones were all very good. Considering different viewpoints. Putting in step up to the, yeah, so you've got a problem, how might you come to that solution? And the students can sort of then draw on that slide. The thing I found is you might get around to teaching a topic, and then I would have a flick through lots of these application ideas, and they were really good. Oh yeah, that's a great way to apply the knowledge I just taught them using the Pear Deck. You know, what's that? There's one here, there's an interpret. What do you think, you know, there's an English one there, what do you think the author is trying to convey? Draw conclusions. And lots of, you know, good things like that. The other ones I really liked was at the end of the lesson, there's effectively circle, this was a great one. Circle how you're feeling. I quite often had those at the start of my Pear Deck lessons, because what was really interesting was you get an indication of how the children were finding that day, and you could sort of, you got a quick indication of who was in a good mood and who was in a bad mood, and you could adapt it towards the children to try and engage them or to build them up. But there's reflect on today's activities, draw 2 things you've learned in the lesson. There is a rate your lesson one. There is an exit ticket one somewhere as well. But there's lots of, and then there's ones for subjects and things. It's American based. So what I'll do, oh yeah, the other one is you could add, I mean, lots of people do this. Now, I only ever use Pear Deck with me presenting it. But what you can do is you can record, you can set it up so the students progress at their own pace and go through it. And so it's actually, and one of the things that staff had a problem with last time was adding audio to slides, because it was a real faff. But actually, if you use Pear Deck, adding the audio is actually really simple, and it comes up. You hit record, and then you add the audio. Hit pause, and then it will go into the slide, and it will play there and then on the slide. Now, I would only use that if you're going to give it as you're not going to do a live Zoom lesson, and these are set up for live Zoom lessons. But when they play it now, that audio will play. Whereas if you did on slides, if you use the Google Slides one, it just is rubbish, and you can never get it to work. It was a real pain. Okay, so I've shown you how to add additional pages. We've added sound. What does Pear Deck look as a pupil? So what I'm going to do is what you don't do with the children here is give them the Google Slide link. You now need to give them the Pear Deck link. So I'm going to start the lesson. So you go at the top there and you start the lesson. And this is where you choose, do you want to set it as a student-paced activity or an instructor-paced activity? Now, I've always done instructor-paced activities, unless a child has missed the lesson, and then you can actually set them the student-paced one afterwards, if that makes sense. But let's do it instructor-paced. So it comes like this on my screen. Yeah, this is it. This is where you need to log in, and I've not done it for a while. So there's going to be a bit of login. Just wait one sec. Okay, so once you're all logged in, don't let me down. it will load like this. And you've got several options from here of what you're going to do. I usually do this, it gives students a link. So what I'll do is, I will copy that and I'll put it in the chat on Zoom. Now I would normally, I do go out with the kids, I do put it in the chat, but on Zoom, but also you can go into Google Classroom. And usually when I've done this on Google Classroom, the kids come and log on and say, what's the Pear Deck code? And so you all then begin to join. And what you will see, you can see what students are connected. So I can see one of you's joined. And the other thing that I need to do is I need to get my teacher dashboard out. So open, so you want your open dashboard there, because you have a teacher dashboard and a pupil dashboard. This is what you should be seeing at the minute. And on your screen, you can't move away from that. So you should be seeing, if you click the Pear Deck link, it should be saying use Pear Deck to support remote learning. And you can't do anything. You can't move to a different screen. You don't know what's coming up. But the screen that I will use is, if you look on your Zoom screen now, is the one that's here. And I can see on my class roster at the top here, I've got several people. Has it given you automatic nicknames? Yes. I'll tell you why in a minute. It's because I changed the setting. The pupils do put their names in, but I have to tell you why it's giving you names like that. But you do get the pupils' names joining there. And so if I then move, so I can then talk about this is what we're going to do today. And then if I put the next slide on, your screen for the pupil screen for Pear Deck has now changed. So you can now begin to write on the screen in answer to my question, what would you like to know about Pear Deck? And if somebody just taps anything, you don't need to. And Ostrich, who's feeling sad today, if you look at your Zoom screen now, I could see you all typing live, all at the same time. And what I will do then quite often is I'll see them typing away, and I can say, oh, Mrs. Hegarty, you haven't actually written anything yet. Are you with us? Dinosaur, could you not write all in capital letters? Could you, phrase your words appropriately? Zebra, can you start your sentence with a capital letter, please? And I can then also, if I see a really good answer, what I can do is I can hit a star answer, and you should be able to see that that's a good one, and this is a good one. That might be a good one. And I can, if I want to, if I get a stupid response, I can hide a response. If I want to put some feedback down, I can write great answer, and that goes in there. And you sort of got this begin this online dialogue. Go to the next screen. What was this one? Rate this presentation. Very low, probably, so far. And you'll have a screen that's the kids' screen, and you've got the, it's interesting, and I've got my teacher screen where I've got everything raising from 0 to, I've got numbers ranging from 9 to 20 or whatever it might be. Let's go to the next one. Yeah, sorry, the other thing that you can do, is I can lock your screen at the bottom there, so you now can't type anything or do anything. Actually, the other thing that I haven't done is I show responses. So if I click that, you can see what people have been writing. And if I go back to the first screen and I go show responses, you can see the responses that you all started writing, and I've starred some, which are then the best ones. Or I think you should now have all of them on there. Let me check. I can see what you see. Yeah. If I go, that isn't quite what I want to do, I could put in a new screen and I can just add a new one in there and you get a totally new thing. Oh, that wasn't quite right. Here's a new thing. Pause and write what you've just learned. And then you can show the responses as such. Yeah, the screen with sound. I'm not sure if the sound's playing on yours. It's not on mine. I think it only plays on the instructor pace one. When it gets to the end of the session, let me just check if there's anything else I shouldn't show you. I've never done a co-teacher. That might be quite interesting. I don't know. When it gets to the end of the session, you can then end the Pear Deck and you can call it I've been logged out again. I need to be logged in. It's having a problem logging me in. Now, at the end, this is the really interesting bit, is the work that you've done there. It creates these things called takeaways. And what it will do is it will publish all the work that they've done to Google Drive. And you can put those in Google Classroom. So you click the share to Google Classroom, and then you can go and put it in whatever. I don't want to put it in any of those classrooms, but whatever classroom you want, and it's there then. The work that the children have done is there linked into their classroom. It's not linked to them individually. So what will happen is they will see all of the, I think this will be it. I think they see everybody's sheets, I think, and they can click off their individual one. They sort of get the folder of them. It does take a few minutes for them to do the takeaway. I'll come back to that in a minute because I'm going to show you something else. Now, I don't know how to get to it from here. I've also not done export to spreadsheet. You might get the student responses in a spreadsheet if you did that. Now, what I'm trying to say is, next thing I'm trying to do is suggest you've done that lesson as a live lesson. What you can then do is, for the pupils that have missed it, you can leave it as a self-navigating lesson. So they still do the same responses by leaving the link in Google Classroom. I'm just going to show you, hopefully show you how to do that. I'm a little bit lost because I don't have my links on Safari like I do on Chrome. And so I'd need to find the dashboard from here. Can't see it quickly. Oh no, I don't want to publish and share my lessons. Okay, I think this is this is the session I'm looking for. So if you go to app.peardeck.com and you're logged in with your Beechwood account, you could see here I've got my Pear Deck introduction session that I've done, and this is the one that I did with you. And I can reopen it and restart it. So that one is the classroom view. That's the one the kids see. That one is the teacher dashboard. And this one here, if I click on here, I can then turn on student-paced session. And what that means then is if you share that link, the original link, you can put that in Google Classroom and they can then do that anytime. It's not it doesn't demand for you to be there controlling their screens and what they're seeing. So I've sort of got to the end, but hopefully sorry about the big gap in the middle and the issue with Google Chrome, and I'll work that one out. But hopefully what you've seen is that you can control the screens, you can see what the pupils are all doing at the same time, you can respond to what they're doing instantly, and you can see it all come up in your screens. I think I always said that if the pupils had devices in the classroom, I would probably use this in the classroom because I could see what every one of them was writing and doing all the time, and then they can take it away and put it back into Google Classroom at the end. Anyone got any questions? I'll save the video that I've recorded and delete the half-hour break in the middle. Just jump in, Grania.
Rob, I missed how you got the teacher screen up because I was on the pupil one.
Okay, yeah, let's do that. So I'll go back to the start. Oh, there we are. The Google Classrooms have loaded. So the takeaways have gone into my Google Drive, and they're in, and you give them the link into their classroom, so you can then get a summary with if Ostrich had written something. I'll also show you how you get the names, because that's quite key. I've never seen these nicknames before. It's a new thing since. But had Ostrich written something? Oh yeah, there we are. They've written how to use it, please. You've got their responses there written in. And you could add more feedback as well, and if you want.
Rob, the animals thing is a Google thing. If you share a Google Doc with someone that is not in your organisation, it assigns you random animal names.
Yeah, okay. Can I show you what I did? Was I turned off require student logins here. And so if I turn that back on, I'm 100% certain that your names would have appeared instead of the ostrich and everything else. I was turning that off when I was trying to work out how to get the damn thing to work. Thinking that might have been the problem. What was I going to show, Grania? How to start as a teacher. So how to get the teacher view. So if I click start lesson, and I'm going for an instructor-paced activity. Now, top tip for you, I found it really useful to have that. The page I had earlier, I've saved it as a bookmark on my computer. The page where I had the list of all my lessons that I've done, where I changed it from teacher to student, I'd saved that. But once you get to here, I can give the students a link. Just by clicking that, you copy it to the dashboard. But if you click open teacher dashboard there, that opens the teacher one. But and what I will normally do is actually I'll right click my mouse and go to copy and then stick it in a new tab. And so I'll have two tabs going, one with the pupils view. Oh, come on. Oh, let's copy the word dashboard now. You can also come down to here. If you accidentally open the wrong one, you can open your dashboard. It's called the dashboard that you want in a new window. And then you get that. And then this is where you control it. Even if you were on this screen, you would still control what the pupils were looking at. And it's actually, I think it's more, can I lock on the other screen? Yeah, I can lock on the other screen as well. And you can still lock. So I've got the bottom, I've still got lock, and I've got the show responses, which is show that everybody's answers to the class, which again is a really useful tool. Bridget?
Yeah, can you just show me how, oh, okay, so you're just waiting for responses. So what I found when I tried to use it last time is I couldn't seem to keep the responses in front of me long enough to try and work out something to do with them. I know you stepped through the process a moment ago, but can you just step through how we wait for the responses and then what we see and then how we capture that?
Okay, I probably would need someone to write, could we, people mind if I, people click the link that's in the chat again. That's a different session though. But if everyone clicks the link in the chat, I'll try and, this is a challenge for me to get back to that session. So this is this page here. This page here is the one that I have bookmarked so that I can always get my lessons back, if that makes sense. And so the one that you guys are linked to should be this one here. And if I open that up on my, that's the teacher dashboard I've just clicked. And if I open that up, I should see I've got no one in the class. Maybe you're on the other one.
Mine said it had ended.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes, because I've done the takeaways. Okay, so okay, so let's just do this again then. So if I go open projector, yes, it ended because I did the takeaways. If I give the students a link, copy to dashboard, I'll put it in there. If you guys click that now, I can see who's connecting as well. So at the bottom, I can see I've now got one person who's connected, two connected, and it should be your names now, he's saying. So let's just check. I'll open the dashboard, check I've got a teacher, check I've got. There we are, I've got your names and you've written. So Bridget, your question was, you're waiting for things to come in. And then if I say, okay, right, stop writing now, and I'm going to lock your screen, so now you can't type.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've now got your attention. Please look at your board. Now on your pupil screen, you should see the response. You should now be seeing the responses, because I've hit show responses.
Yeah.
And if I think there's a really good one, I could start to really look at this one.
Yeah.
You know, if this one is really stupid, I can hit hide response, and that one would take it away. But But you notice how I can see that, I can see, if you look at the Zoom screen, I can also see that Mrs. Manton said she's happy, Mrs. Hegarty's there, and Mrs. Wilkins is really upset. So I know how you're all, fit, you know, I find that really helpful to know how the people on the other end of the screen are feeling, so that I can be nicer or not, or to people.
Okay, no, that's good. I think so. I would get to a certain point and then write things, and then I'd go, but then I don't know what to do next. But I think I need to have a go and play around with it.
The kids really like it. They like the idea that they've always got something to do, and if you have the screen ready to go, so they've got something to do when they arrive, you use, and you can almost see their brains working as well, because they'll write something and then they'll delete it, and you can see them deleting it and rephrasing it, which is, really good. And some people you just see lazy, you'll just write the minimum and no punctuation, and but others will just go for it. And what's really good actually is when you're on Zoom, if they're writing and you can see they're writing and you saying, yeah, that's really good, great, well done, Mrs. Manton, that's really good, great idea, well done, Mrs. Hegarty, fantastic. Oh, and they always used, they really get that and they really like that. And we always used to have races to see they had races to see who could get the name first on the board, to see who's getting down and writing something quick. And so I'd be like, come on, so-and-so, you've done really well, brilliant. And you get a list at the bottom of your screen of the people who haven't written anything. And you can say, actually, come on, Zeki, you haven't written anything yet. Or, and you can pick them up. Mr. Fox, how did I not? Yeah, Mr. Fox hadn't written anything yet. It can be, you don't actually need, I hate to say this, having sent around a thing before saying that discussion is brilliant and you should try and get the kids discussing, you don't actually need, I found you never needed the cameras on, because you actually see what they're doing on your screen. Is that another question, Grania or Bridget? My hand's still up from last time. The most tricky bit is the bit where you go from starting it. So you've got your slide and you go to start lesson. It's just making sure that you know where your pupil view is and your teacher view is, because it doesn't really open them in new windows. And that's why I said I like to have that screen bookmarked, because I could always open that up and then either open up my teacher view or my pupil view from that. And you can do all that while you set them as sort of, a task to be doing right away. All right. Don't know how you use it in drama though, Mrs. Hegarty.
I'm thinking I might just stick with like actual conversations on Zoom, if I'm perfectly honest. I don't think it's worth the effort of trying to get them to do this. I thought we could.
Thanks for being here for the last hour and 23 minutes.
Yeah, I've sent loads of emails and done other stuff. I thought it might be a useful way to kind of get them to like mind map or brainstorm in one place, but yeah. I think we'll just have a chat. I think I'm better quite frankly.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Thank you though, Rob.
All right.
Thanks, Rob. Really useful.
See ya.
Bye.
Okay, bye.
Bye.